It's your choice. XRP or XLM, or both. But which of those two digital assets, cryptocurrencies, is the best speculative bet? Because trillions is going to flow through cryptos like Stellar XLM, and you and I, your award-winning Stellar XLM crypto developer, could benefit, because it's all about the fundamental facts of the matter. As I've said many times before, look at the ETFs, look at these great partnerships with these big financial behemoths: BlackRock, PayPal, Franklin Templeton, MoneyGram, all integrating into crypto. Look at the US governments around the world creating crypto bills, the Genius Act, Stablecoin Act. But how are you going to benefit? How am I going to benefit from this? Stay tuned. I'm Nathan, aka Nathan of Zion, your award-winning Stellar XLM crypto developer. And today we're going to be going through this article to determine exactly which crypto is the best speculative game. And you're going to want to listen to this because it's very important. So this article I wrote on the Zioncoins.org foundation website, .org.uk, Zioncoin, and really I just wanted to try and decipher. So yeah, I use a bit of AI, I use Claude, ran it through Claude, I ran it through Grok 4. I tend not to use ChatGPT. I don't know about you guys, but for me, Grok's more current, maybe because they've got a bigger media source. X, perhaps, don't know. In any case, I digress. Let's read through this article. So, the cryptocurrency market thrives on catalysts, announcements that ignite trader enthusiasm, spark social media buzz, and drive volatility. Social media buzz, right? Two major developments in September 2025 has set the stage for heated speculation. PayPal's PYUSD stablecoin integration on Stellar XLM blockchain, now facilitated by Paxos, and the launch of the US listed XRP exchange traded fund, the ETF, right? And that's obviously by Rex Osprey. Well, if you don't know, it's Rex Osprey. I don't know who Rex Osprey are, but that's who's doing it. Both events, announced around September the 18th, 2025, has sent ripple through the respective ecosystem. Ripples through the ecosystem, right? Like that. But which holds the more potential to fuel speculative price action, right? And short-term, long-term impacts. Spoiler: XRP's ETF launch is hotter. The hotter spark for short-term speculation. But Stellar's utility-driven move could shine brighter over time. Now, moving forward. The contenders, a tale of two blockchains. Before dissecting the news, let's frame the players. Stellar XLM and XRP are Layer 1 blockchain protocols designed for fast, low-cost cross-border payments, competing in a crowded field with distinctive strengths. Stellar's founder, Jed McCaleb, focuses on bridging traditional finance and crypto, targeting remittances and tokenized real-world assets, RWA. Its native token, XLM, powers transactions, fees, and smart contracts, which has a circulating supply of 29 billion and a market cap hovering just around 11 billion as of September 2025. XRP emphasizes institutional payment solutions, particularly for banks and financial intermediaries, with circulating supply of 50 billion and market cap exceeding 150 billion. XRP has recently outpaced traditional giants like Citigroup in market valuation. Both assets have weathered regulatory storms and market cycles, but the latest developments, Stellar's stablecoin integration and XRP's ETF launch offers contrasting paths to speculative fever. So, Stellar's big win. PayPal's PYUSD goes live on Stellar 28th, 2025. PayPal's USD back stablecoin PYUSD finance officially launched on the Stellar blockchain with Paxos as the issuer. Now, PayPal USD backed by over 1.3 billion in reserves and integrated into PayPal's 400 million plus user base includes Venmo, brings massive potential for real world adoption. Stellar's network, known as sub 5-second transaction finality and near zero fees, is now a backbone for PYUSD's cross-border payments, remittances and DeFi applications. This follows PayPal's earlier move to integrate PYUSD on Ethereum and Solana, but Stellar's low-cost, high-throughput design, bolstered by the Protocol 23 Saraband upgrade for 5,000 transactions per second finality, makes it a natural fit, people. Adding fuel, Paxo announced plans for a yield-bearing stablecoin, USDH, also on Stellar, potentially tying into PayPal's ecosystem. Stellar's partnerships with Visa for stablecoin settlements and MasterCard for compliance tools further amplifies the narrative. Three payment giants now leverage Stellar's infrastructure. The network's total value locked TVL has surged 9x year-over-year to 500 million, outpacing the broader crypto markets by 2x, people. I mean, we got to think about the speculative drivers, right? The PYUSD integration is game-changing for Stellar. For Stellar's utility, every PYUSD transaction on Stellar burns a tiny fraction of XLM fees, creating organic demand for the token, with PayPal processing over 1.68 trillion in payment volume in 2024. Even a small slice of that shifting on to Stellar's chain could drive significant XLM surge. Social media, particularly posts on X, has framed this as a breakthrough for on-chain payments, with analysts projecting 3 billion in tokenized RWAs on Stellar's blockchain by Q4 2025. However, the speculative hype is more measured than explosive. The news appeals to long-term investors and institutions focused on adoption metrics. Think tokenized treasuries, remittances, and DeFi yield farming, rather than retail traders chasing quick pumps. Sentiment on X is bullish, but narrative centers on ecosystem growth. For example, Stellar's role in central bank digital currencies over immediate price spikes, regulatory hurdles like pending NYDFS approvals for full PYUSD rollout adds some uncertainty. Of course it does. But what about price action and projections? Stellar, right? XLM traded between 36 cents and 42 cents before the announcement, dipping 3 to 4% to 39 cents post-launch, likely due to institutional profit taking amid broader market dip. Despite the short-term pullback, analysts are optimistic. AI-driven price models project 50 cents to 60 cents by end of September in momentum holds, with some calling for $5 plus per XLM in 2025 as RWA stablecoin adoption accelerates. Historic parallels like XLM's 6 to 100% rallies after earlier PYUSD news in July suggest steady upside, but not the frantic pumps seen in ETF-driven markets. Beware, long-term hold maybe, right? Stellar's news is a slow burner catalyst. Its strength lies in real-world utility. Billions in transaction volume could flow through Stellar, driving organic XLM demand. However, the speculative sizzle is tempered. It's less likely to spark 100% plus rallies in weeks compared to flashy news like ETFs. Of course, the focus on institutional adoption, long-term growth makes XLM a buy and hold play for those betting on tokenized finance. Hodl the XLM, hodl the Zion coins. It's coming. Make the markets with your asset. The protocol will use your spread. Keep them tight. Hint. On the same day, September the 18th, 2025, the Rex Osprey XRP ETF, ticker XRPR, debuted on the CBOE exchange, making the first US listed XRP focused investment product. The hybrid ETF 20% cash settled, 40% tied to other XRP products, shattered expectations with record-breaking 37.7 million in trading volume on day one. Part of a $54.7 million combined launch with Doge ETF. This dwarfed all other 2025 crypto ETF debuts, signaling massive investor appetite. Crucial. The launch follows a favourable regulatory shift with set easing rules for crypto ETFs. More filings from heavyweights like Franklin Templeton and Wisdom Tree are expected by October, and CME's addition to XRP futures options on October the 13th adds liquidity tailwinds. Ripple's push for a full banking license further bolsters the narrative of XRP as a bridge between crypto and traditional finance. Polymarket odds for a pure spot ETF approval by end of year sit on a 90% plus approval, with JP Morgan estimating 4 to 8 billion inflows over the next 12 months. $15 XRP maybe, I don't know, just a speculative guess, just throwing it out there. The XRP ETF is a speculative juggernaut. It mirrors the transformative impact of Bitcoin and Ethereum's ETFs, which drove 64 and 20% price surges respectively post-approval. The ETF opens XRP to retail investors via apps like Robinhood and institutional players like pension funds, unlocking trillions in potential capital. Just saying, trillions will flow through cryptos like XRP and XLM in potential capital. Social media is ablaze. X posts scream XRP $5 to $10 in October with retail and institutional FOMO override. The XRP ETF structure, while not pure spot, still provides easy access, and the prospect of additional approvals keep the hype alive. Volume tells the story. 37.7 million on day one signals a capital rotation into XRP, dwarfing typical altcoin flows. XRP's low circulating supply, 50 billion, versus Bitcoin's 19.7 million, amplifies price sensitivity to inflows. The narrative of XRP as Bitcoin 2.0 for institutional adoption fuels trader chatter, with sentiment on X reaching feverish pitches. Speculative potential. So the price action and projections. XRP hovered over around $3.02. Post launch down 1% daily, but holding key support at $3. It gained 3% on ETF approval news and 36% since July, riding the anticipation wave. Technical indicators, for example, bullish flag patterns suggest a rebound, with AI models forecasting $3.50 to $4.20 within week and $5 by year end. Bullish and analysts see $8 to $10 in 2026. Inflows hit $8 billion as projected by Crypto.com CEO. The ETF's debut volume and XRP's market cap surpassing Citigroup's underscore its speculative momentum. Crazy. So it's clear the price action for XRP could be the speculative winner. Let's have a look. XRP's ETF is a rocket ship for short-term speculation. The combination of record-breaking volume, institutional access, and historical ETF-driven rallies, for example, Bitcoin 60% plus surge, makes it a magnet for traders. The prospect of further approvals and future options adds fuel, creating a feedback loop to hype and volatility. While long-term utility depends on Ripple's banking partnerships, the ETF's immediate impact is pure speculation gold. Head-to-head, which news wins? The crown, the speculative champion. Let's break it down across key metrics. 1. Hype intensity. XRP's ETFs. The clear winner. Social volume on X is 10x higher for XRP ETF than Stellar's PYUSD news, with retail and institutional traders piling into ETF moonshot narratives post-Brim, with price targets $5 to $10 and October means, echoing the BTC ETH ETF mania. Stellar's bullish but subdued. The focus on utility remittances, RWA's DeFi, resonates with developers and institutions but lacks the viral FOMO of ETFs. It's quietly transformative story that doesn't ignite retail frenzy. Long-term hold. 2. Liquidity and inflows. XRP's ETFs. The 37.7 million debut volume is game changer, outpacing any 2025 crypto ETF launch. JP Morgan's 8 to 4 billion inflow estimate suggests massive capital rotation amplified by XRP's tighter supply. This is a liquidity tsunami. Stellar's PYUSD. Stellar's TVL grew 9x to 500 million and 3 billion in RWA is projected by Q4. However, this is network level growth, not direct token inflows. XLM's larger supply, 29 billion, dilutes price impact compared to XRP. Make of that what you will. I always thought XLM's price or XLM supply was lower than XRP. XRP is 100 billion, XLM is 50 billion. Work it out, right? In any case. 3. Price response. XRP ETF, XRP 36% gains since July and $3.02 holds show resilience. Projections of $3.50 and $4.20 short term and $5 to $10 long term reflects ETF driven momentum. Historical ETF rallies as of BTC 64%, ETH 20%. Set a precedent for 50 to 100% pumps. Stellar XLM's 3 to 4% dip to 39 cents post launch is a speed bump, but 50 cents to 60 cents is feasible by month end. Long term targets $5 plus. Hinge on adoption, not immediate FOMO. Post stablecoin news driven 6 to 100% gains, but over months. Remember that. So what we got? Look, we got to look at short term versus long term. Okay, let's break it down. Short term gains, people. Short term, XRP. Long term, Stellar. Here's why. Now remember, AI helped me write this post. Okay, I just chopped it up, processed it again. Here's what it's saying. Taking all that information from, X and the rest of the internet. Short term versus long term. XRP's ETF's short term dynamite, the ETF's accessibility and inflows potential make it a speculative magnet for Q4 2025. Okay? $10, yeah? $8, whatever. Right? With volatility spikes likely. Long-term gains depend on Ripple's banking license and broader ETF approvals. Are they going to get it? More than likely. This is a case of causal determinism. Fundamentals will determine price action. It's causal. In between that, on the smaller time frames, it's chaotic. You got to think La Paz, Lorraine, causal determinism, chaos theory. Okay, and apply that to Fibonacci. It's the way the world works, right? It's all pre-laid out. Some things we don't know. It's a bit like predicting the weather. Ask the meteorologist. Stellar and PYUSD. Long-term powerhouse. PYUSD's integration paired with Visa, MasterCard partnerships, MoneyGram, Franklin Templeton, Wisdom Tree, positions Stellar as a hub for tokenized finance. Short-term speculation is muted, but 2026 growth could see potential growth of 1.68 trillion in PayPal volume if it shifts on chain. Now that is what you got to think. I'm going to cut this short because the video is getting very long, and I'm just going to leave you with final thoughts. Both XLM and XRP are buys on dips, but the speculative profiles differ. XRP's ETFs is a hotter ticket for short-term traders with October approvals and futures options as a rocket fuel. Stellar's PYUSD news is long-term gem, ideal for investors betting on tokenized finance. Crypto remains a wild ride. Technical indicators, for example, XRP's bullish flag, XLM's overbought CRSI, and market sentiment can shift fast. Always do your own research and don't bet the farm. Whoa, this may change things. This has just come in just as I'm making this video. XLM awaits breakout after SEC approval of Hashdex ETF. This could be huge. The US SEC has officially green-lighted Hashdex Nasdaq Crypto Index US ETF NCICQ to expand beyond BTC and ETHs, now including XRP, SOL, and XLM. This makes a major milestone for Stellar. XLM joins the list of regulated index assets, creates a pathway for future Stellar Spot ETF, expands institutional exposure beyond retail demand. Analysts point to 40 cents resistance as key breakout levels. Breaking above could launch XLM towards 70 cents. Chart patterns hint at bullish reversals. At the moment, XLM trades at 35 cents, but with ETF approval and strong fundamentals, momentum is building, people. Stellar is no longer just an altcoin. It's now officially part of the ETF evolution. The stage is set for huge gains. course not. Look, I wrote this post, a few days ago. There's been loads of liquidations in the market. We're seeing a reaction from macro side of things, like the bigger markets, like the SPY, like the Russell, like the Dow. All the markets have dipped, yeah, and that is just major profit taking. Don't fight the trend. The trend is up. Macro is up. We're not there yet. Until you see bigger drops, 20% drops in the broader markets, we're still up and to the right. In any case, I'm Nathan, aka Nathan of Zion, your award-winning Stellar XLM crypto developer. Check out the next video. Stay tuned, because we're still working on Zig3 V3. We're getting it out to you. Have a great day. Take care now. See you in the next one.